Namaste. Salaam alaikum. Sat Sri Akal. How are you doing? Fantastic? Wonderful. There can't be a bigger lie than this. Whenever somebody asks us, how are you? It's a very standard response. Fine. Great. Absolutely fine. And the moment we say this, that I'm absolutely fine, the person who asks you get depressed. Because he knows about his situation. And he feels that everybody else is so great. My goodness, I am the only one, not so great. This is a social hypnotism happening. Don't take it on the face value. People might say fine. They are not absolutely fine. They are having some kind of troubles that you and I have. Right? So, somebody just asked me that you are a speaker and for the last 2 days you are listening. So, how are you feeling? It must be difficult for you. I reminded that person that I am a happily married person. Right? So, listening is not something which is very new to me. I am used to it. How many of you want to be happy? Please raise your hand. Wonderful. It indicates you are not. Right? Right? You are not. Someone asked a spiritual person that how to remain happy always. And the spiritual person said, remove always and you will be happy. Right? Because only a crazy person can be happy always. You and I, educated people, how can you and I afford to be happy always? It is okay not to be happy always. Just think about it. Your family member is always happy. It will lead to serious challenges. Would you agree? Yes or no? Every time happy. You wake up in the morning, you are happy. You're lying on the bed, waiting to get sleep and you are happy. Somebody breaks something and you are happy. Reports not filed on time. Some penalty is happening and you are happy. That would be challenging. So it is okay if you and I are not happy always. Would you agree with this fact? Can you say a louder yes? I was also thinking to use this collar mic, but then I saw what happened with Mr. Rai, and I decided it is better to stick to this mic. Okay? But as a motivational speaker, I'm not used to it. I'm used to going here and there. Every speaker before me said, I want to keep it interactive. And they end up doing what they are best at doing. Right? So I really like that because that makes me unique. I will be interacting. Okay. Before I start this 1 hour talk, I have a very simple question to all of you. How many of you believe that you are talented? Raise your hand. Talented. Those of you who have come here with your spouses, please do ensure that you raise your hand. Okay? We all are talented people inside this room. There's no doubts about it. And let me tell you what my opinion is for talented people. Every talented person has a responsibility to become successful. Because if talented people do not become successful, you are becoming a bad example. Would you agree? Can I have a louder yes? Right? Every talented person has a responsibility to become successful. And then, every successful person has a responsibility to be happy. Because if you are successful and always with a, poker face, then, you are setting a bad example. That what is the fun of being successful if you are not happy? Right? But I don't know why the moment you and I become successful, we lose that smile. Because intelligent people hardly smile. What is there to smile? And if at all we smile at people, not with people. Yes or no? Right? One couple approached me. They said, Mr. Semwal, rest all soft skills we can take care, but can you give us some tips how to teach children? How to teach children? Because this current generation is very hard to teach. I asked that couple that, hey, who is the strongest in terms of physical power, mental power, emotional power, financial power in your family? The couple said, of course, we are the strongest in terms of in our own family. And then I asked them, who's the happiest in your family? They said, the kid. Now this unhappy couple wants to learn how to teach kid how to become unhappy. The real question that the couple should ask themselves is, before they ask that how to teach, the first question that they should inquire is, what will you teach? Because if you are not happy, what will you teach? How many of you believe that pleasant mind is productive mind? Raise your hand. Pleasant mind is productive mind, and unpleasant mind is destructive mind. Would you agree? Right? So therefore, as a parent, it is our responsibility to ensure that we live in a pleasant state. The one question that should come to your mind is how? How to live in a pleasant state? I'll do my best to answer it. But before I start answering this, I wish to check whether you are awake, alive, alert or not. Can I do that checking? Let me actually interact with you. Okay. When I say, can I request all of you to just stand up for a second, please? Can you do that? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nice audience. Thank you. When I say one, together we all will say, I am alive. What will we say? I am alive. But when you say I am alive, you need to do your hands like this. Both hands. I am alive. Okay. When I say two, you need to take your hands up and say, I am awake. What will you say? I am awake. And when I say three, take them up. I am alert. What will you say? Let me see how alert you are. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Well, we can clap for each other. But please keep standing, keep standing, keep standing. Test is pending. Okay, here we go. Now listen and do what I ask you to do. Here we go. 2. Very good. 1, 3. Wonderful. Now we can clap for each other. Let's have a huge round of applause. Please sit down. Please sit down. Thank you very much. You all are alive, awake. People want reasons to be happy. Of course, there should be reason to be happy. But the first reason that you and we all have to be happy is that we are alive. Yes or no? There are millions of people who could not wake up today morning for different reasons. We woke up. But then were we happy being alive? My goodness. Not again. One more day. In this room, we all are wise people. Raise your hand, wise people, wise people, wise people, wise people. Very good. Once you are wise, what should you become next? Of course, wiser. But the problem with some wise people is they behave otherwise. Right? Right. They behave otherwise. How many of us know that morning walk is good for health? Show of hands. Wonderful. How many of us actually do it? Now that's the problem. The problem with the morning walk is it has to happen in the morning. And this damn morning comes so soon. Is it not? Wise people behaving otherwise. Cigarette smoking is wonderful. The people who smoke, they know it better than anybody else. One of my friends, very fond of smoking, one day I told him that, hey, don't you know smoking is injurious to health? Even if you do not know the company which is manufacturing it, they have printed it on the pack that smoking kills. Still you smoke. And he said, that is the reason I never buy a cigarette pack. Right? I purchase, lose once. So there are a lot of wise people behaving otherwise. That is the challenge. This is my personal belief. Pleasant mind is productive mind. If you and I are pleasant, trust me, we can achieve more. With those constipated faces, you think you're going to become successful sooner? I doubt that. People are becoming successful at a very expensive rate nowadays. Diseases which were known to humankind after the age of 50 are known to us now at the age of 30. Yes or no? Earlier it used to take a person minimum 50 to 55 years of age to build his own house. Now we are able to do that in the 30, 35 years of age. Yes or no? But one fact is same. We are living in our own house for the next 20 years only. Earlier 55 used to live till 75, now 35, by 55 you have diseases which can take you away. If you are becoming successful very fast, the chances are you already must be having blood pressure. If not, wait. CFO, sugar, guaranteed. You want to become CEO, bypass waiting. Right? Becoming successful, very expensive rate. But people are okay with it. And they've started calling it lifestyle diseases. Lifestyle, why to have that kind of a lifestyle which gives you diseases? What is disease? When you're not at ease, that leads to disease. I was telling somebody yesterday that pretension leads to tension. Pretension leads to tension. People who pretend a lot, they die young. Because everybody else may not come to know about their pretension, but they themselves know that I am pretending. And for your information, our body does not lie. Our mind may, body does not lie. The moment you and I lie, body gets confused. It breaks its rhythm. And when the rhythm is broken, of course, there is a lot of dis-ease in the body. And then it reflects, manifests in terms of a lot of diseases. Those who are living happily, working happily, whatever money they are making, they should add imaginary 10,000, 15,000 rupees figures to their salary. This much you are saving of medicine by being happy. Trust me. Otherwise, I don't know what is the rate going on here about bypass. In India, my goodness, doctors, when your patient is on the stretcher, they would say, hey, bypass is compulsory. These are 3 stunts. 60,000 rupees, 85,000 rupees, 2,15,000 rupees. Which would you like to adopt? And when you ask them, what about the 60,000 rupees? No guarantee. Okay, do you give guarantee for 2,15,000 rupees? No guarantee. So why go for this kind of a situation? Be happy. Pleasant mind is productive mind, very productive mind. But the problem is some people have practiced so hard that you give them any situation, they can be unhappy. You give them any situation and the person can be unhappy. This is one board, right? Successful people living in this house. People are fed up with what they are doing. I just read it on WhatsApp, somebody sent me. If you don't love your job, take a home loan. Take another loan, you will start loving your boss as well. Get married, and you will start loving your office too. This is how people are having happiness nowadays. Let me quickly tell you what I understand about happiness. See, when I'm talking about happiness does not mean that I am always happy, because I'm not crazy, I'm not happy always. But my little understanding about happiness is that the problem with people is they think that happiness depends on the magnitude of event. I seriously disagree. Happiness does not depend on the magnitude of event, it certainly depends on frequency of events. But the problem is because people are not alert, they are not capitalizing on those small events of happiness which is happening every day. For example, I am alive. This is such a big event to be happy, and we are alive every day. If your car tire gets punctured, you say, my goodness, what a bad day. But you're not happy that you have a car. Is it not? So people have, become used to of being unhappy. You keep them in any situation, then they will be unhappy. This little kid is asking you a question. A very simple question. This kid is asking you, are you guys excited about your life? Yes, no, maybe. Yes. Hey, come on, this yes does not say that you're excited. Okay, let me remind you, this is last session. Are you excited now? Yes. Oh, great, very good. Are you excited about your life? Yes. Very good. The question is why? Why are you excited about your life? Because you're alive. You came to know about it right now. When you wake up in the morning, do you feel a wow? That wow, one more day. Today again, I'll go to office. You feel that wow? I'm sure, most of us, we wait for holidays. Next year is about to come. The first thing that we see in the calendar is how many chutti, how many holidays. Is it not? Even in India, people keep looking for holidays. Saturday kab aayega, Sunday kab aayega. When will this Sunday come? And I always keep telling them, it will come after Saturday. Even this week, it is not going to change. And these people who keep waiting for Sundays, I ask them, you wait for this Sunday so much. Tell me, what exactly do you do on a Sunday? सुबह उठ के फिर आराम करता हूं. I will rest after waking up. Now can you imagine the plight of these people? What is happening to them? उठ के आराम करते हैं. How many of you have kids below the age of 8? Raise your hand. Below the age of 8. Wow. You must have experienced it. That when you go back home, these kids below the age of 8, they meet you with so much excitement. Yes or no? They announce, hey, Papa! Papa has come. They're so excited as if new Papa has come. Right? Is it not so? Papa! But then Papa, worried about a lot of issues. Papa! Hurt. Year ending. No Papa on year ending. Okay? Closing time. And that's the reason they come like this only till the age of 7, 8, 9. Those of us who have grown up kids, mother informs the kids, hey, Papa has come. And the kid would say, so what? So what? Give him water. Must be thirsty. Nobody offers him water outside. Comes for water at home only. Is it not? And then put the news on. Enemy of my cartoon. A bigger cartoon has come back. We grown-ups, we are always after our kids that they watch too much cartoon. In every session that I do for families, parents have this complaint nowadays. Kids are watching too much cartoon. Recently, one couple said, my 7-year-old son is watching too much cartoon. Can we do something about it? I said, of course we can. She said, what can we do? I said, you accept it. They are watching too much cartoon. Then I asked them, what is the problem if a child is watching too much cartoon? What is the problem? They're watching too much cartoon. I said, I have already heard it. What is the problem? They're too much cartoon. I said, tell me, what else comes on television for a 7-year-old kid? There is no problem if a 7-year-old kid is watching cartoon. You have a perfect healthy child. Normal healthy baby. Yes or no? You will have serious problem if your 7-year-old kid, you go back home and is watching some spiritual channel, right? Then you better start looking for some psychologist that what has happened, right? Some Dhruv Tara born in my family, not okay. My son who's 15 years young now, he's not watching cartoon. My wife is again upset. She says, "Hey, look into the computer. I am worried what he must be seeing." Now he can't see Chhota Bheem cartoons, right? So it's all right. But you know, children are produced by unskilled parents. Is it right? We are doing parenting on the basis of hit and trial method. If it clicks, it clicks. Otherwise, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? अपना ही तो है. Is it not? So these poorly trained people training those, right? And then have problem with children. The simple thing is, people are not excited about their life anymore. They are bored. In India, when we ask people, क्या हाल है? कट रही है. No excitement. Not bad. वो भी बड़ा एहसान है. Not bad. Is it not? So I guess you and I, as a human being, as a alive human being, you and I got to be excited. Yes or no? But then the question is, excited about what? Excited about what every morning? Any answer? Why should we be excited every morning? We are alive. That is sufficient. Is it not? But the problem is the other people are also alive. Is it? That's the problem. I am not the only alive person. Everybody else is also alive. Hey, come on. You and I, we have enough reasons to be happy if we are alert. Would you agree? What is our problem? There are two kinds of problem. Real problem and second is imaginary problems. Real problems are life-threatening problems. Rest every other problem is imaginary problem. The problem is, imaginary problem is leading to real problems in people's life. Is it not? वो क्या सोच रहा है? What that person must be thinking, even that person doesn't know what he is thinking. Is it not? And you're worried about that person. What is he thinking? He does not know what is he thinking. But then, people have a lot of issues. People who are not excited, they live like this. Not again, one more day. And let me show you a video. Going to office. My goodness, going to office. Without excitement. Let us interact. What else? Imagination. Attitude. What is the difference in the attitude of a young person and an old person? The thirst to achieve something. Wonderful. Yes, what else? Positiveness. This positive thinking is also happening too much, by the way. Carefree. And that is our worry, is it not? Energy. You well said, sir. Creativity. Wonderful. Maturity. Who has more? Okay, what else? Experience. Okay? Now tell me honestly, the more we are growing in age, are we becoming happier? No. So what is the fun of growing then? Let's stop it. Such mein. Because if we are growing in age but not growing in happiness, then what is the fun of growing? Huh? Anyway, what else? Other than the age, huh? Sorry? What? A curiosity. Wonderful. Very good. All answers are correct answer. Yes. I'm sorry? Responsibility. This is a complaint of old people. Young people do not have responsibility. Yeah. It's a choice. Yes. State of mind, certainly. So what is the difference in the state of mind of a young person and an old person? Yeah. Of course. Of course, of course, of course, of course. Wisdom. Old people stop learning. All right. Taking risk. We had a lot of discussion on risk. Risk taking. Not taking risk is the biggest risk. Is it not? You and I are breathing, we are taking risk. Of course. Got married. We were born, that was risky. Yes, driving is risky. Speaking is risky. Working is risky. The only security you get in India, especially in Delhi, is the hard jail. Absolute security. Rest everywhere there is risk. Is it not? But anyway, is there any other difference between young and old? Yes. Adventurism, yes. Wonderful, sir. Very well said. All answers are correct answer. Can we clap for each other, please? Excellent. But now I am supposed to tell you something else, is it not? Is it not? That's why I am here. All answers are correct answer, but just add one more thing to your software. Young is the one who is optimistic. If you and I are not optimistic, we are not young. Outside this room, if you ask anyone, tell me about your golden days, people invariably will tell you school days, college days. But children who are going to school today, you tell them that, hey, these are your golden days. वो कहेंगे आप चले जाओ. Why don't you go? They think that we are enjoying our life. We believe that, hey, our golden days were school days. I do not know about you, how your school days were, but I certainly know about myself. Born and brought up in Delhi, not by choice. You know, and the kind of school teachers we used to have at that time, very polite teachers. Right? Used to put pen here, and then you used to squeeze it, and then you used to ask, how are you feeling? Right? तो कभी कभी मन करता था उनको कहें जी आप रख के देख लो. Right? School days, golden days. Now, I believe anybody who is optimistic and believes that my best is yet to come is young. And anybody who believes that my best has already happened is certainly old. Is it not? शाहजी ਇੱਥੇ आओगे? Do you agree with this, that my best is yet to come? Your best is also yet to come. Can you announce it, please?
My best is yet to come.
Thank you. I have put this poster on my workstation. I keep it in my laptop. It keeps reminding me that, hey, Semwal, your best is also yet to come. Because if your best has already happened, you have become a liability. Left-hand side item on the balance sheet. A very strange thing, by the way, all chartered accountants. People, the main asset of any organization, is not shown on the asset side of the balance sheet. I know. And your salaries are shown in the debit side of profit and loss account. treated as expenditure, but the people are the real asset of any organization. Would you agree? Yes or no? Right? So we got to treat people that way. And every human being got to believe this, that my best is yet to come. Can we say this about this room? Our best is yet to come? Can we say that in a louder voice? Let's say that. What wonderful. And please inform this to your family members as well, that your best is yet to come. Your family member might tell you that I told you so. You never believed me. And an outsider is telling you now you know. Okay. Answer this simple question. And don't worry, I'm taking care of the time. Okay, don't worry, all right. Yes, answer this simple question. What is life? Quick. Come on. What is life? Fun. Very good. Aur batao, sir. What is life? Life is series of progression. Wonderful, sir. Yes. Life is a Okay. Yes, madam. Your life is you. Very well said. Yes. Oh, wow. Moments of that. अब मजा आ रहा है ना? Life is a wonder which happens only once. Life is a responsibility. Very well said. Why not? Yes, it is a responsibility. Yes, sir. Oh. Life is a struggle, while life is what you make of it. Wonderful. Very good. One spiritual person was asked this question, what is the purpose of life? And the spiritual person said, life itself has no purpose. You need to make it purposeful. Life is what you make of it. Wonderful. Very well said. सारे जवाब ठीक हैं. All answers are correct. But I got to say something else, right? हाँ, बाकी सब लोग. So what is life? All answers are correct. But if you will observe, underneath every photograph, there are two dates given in the bracket. Date of delivery to date of departure. And anything which happens between these two dates is called life. Rest, all other answers are feelings. Factually, what is life? Life is nothing but tenure, duration. You and I, we have lived our life of 2 days inside this room. Is it not? What is life? Life is nothing but time. Every second, every moment, you and I are living our life. Therefore, let's make maximum most out of it. And how do we do that? Read the statement. If what we did yesterday still looks big to us, it means we haven't done much today. If my achievements of the past are still looking very glorious to me, it is a clear indication you're not working on any worthwhile thing today. So let's stop boasting about the glory of the past. We got to start doing something for the future, for the betterment of future. People who do not do this, they also live their life in these 5 bottles. Start with the milk bottle, end with the glucose bottle, and in between. What do you see here? Unicorn. Now what? Bird. So actually, if you see carefully, it's the same image. It's the same image. Is it not? But looks different because we have changed the angle. Angle. Attitude. Nazariya. So the moment we change our angle, everything looks different. Is it not? When you look at this picture, what comes to your mind? Accident. Okay. What do you think? This driver must be driving like a crazy today, or must be used to of driving this kind of, in this way? Right? Today he may have met 2 similar drivers and must be cursing the day today, but it must be in this driver's habit. One thing that I have, started realizing is that good or bad, habits always deliver results. Some habits may not deliver immediate results, but habits always deliver results. So you and I need to be very, very careful about our habits. This is my patented question, which I ask in my all training programs. So I'm asking you the same question. And it is not a spiritual question. Why are you living? Anybody can answer. Sorry? Best is yet to come, but my question is, why are you living? Not yet died, okay. Because we took birth or we were given birth? Unknown. Family. We are living for family. Oh wow. See, that's the sacrifice men make. Otherwise, he would have died by now. Any other reason? See, your answers are again right answers. I'm sorry? We need to find a reason. Yes. We want to make it better. Wonderful. Very well said. I asked this question in one of my training programs. So when I went for the training program early in the morning, 9 o'clock the session was supposed to start. So when I reached the room, I saw 70 delegates sitting on the chair in such a posture that it was, quite visible that they were not sitting. They were just there lying like a log. And being a motivational speaker, I like energy. But when I reached there, I could see, my goodness, no heartbeat. My job is like a mobile charger. I can only charge, but for that there has to be a battery. If there is no battery, what will the charger do? So when I reached there, I saw these 70 people lying on the chair. So I got upset. So that day, I'm talking about 12 years back, this question suddenly came into my mind because I was angry at that day. So I asked them that, hey, I will start the session later on. First of all, tell me, why are you living? You gave wonderful answers, but there when I asked this question, why are you living? Pin drop silence. Everybody started looking at each other that what kind of question is this? So when nobody answered, I went to a person who was, about to disappear under the table. So I went there and I asked him, sir, I'll talk to these 70 people later on. Right now you tell me, why are you living? And this person suddenly got alert, didn't know what to do, looked at me and smiled, hoping that I will go away. Right? I said, sir, spare this smile for the end of the session. Right now tell me, why are you living? He started looking at his notes. I said, sir, there is nothing written in the notes. Tell me, why are you living? He started looking at the fellow participants, hoping that somebody might help. Everybody got himself busy in their notebooks. That thank God, he's not asking us. So when this guy realized that, hey, nobody is helping and this guy is going nowhere and he's asking me, why are you living? Why are you living? He got upset, which is very natural. So when I asked him once again, why are you living? He stood in anger and said, what else do you want me to do? He said, do you want me to die? I woke up in the morning, I was alive, I was ticking, so I am here. What else should I do? So I told him that, sir, I'm sorry, I think you are unnecessarily becoming agitated. I just simply asked you a question. He said, but now you need to tell me, why am I living? I said, sir, why are you living? How am I supposed to know? He said, no, now you need to answer because you have been asking too many questions. Tell me, why am I living? And I said, sir, I do not know. Why are you living? How am I supposed to know why are you living? I can tell you about myself. Why am I living? But I really do not know about you. So then he said, then why did you ask me? I said, sir, I am terribly sorry. I made a mistake. I was hoping that, in the last 45, 50 years, you must have come to know. But if you still don't know, it's okay. Right? Sit down. But don't you think it is the case with everyone? You ask anyone, why are you living? Because I'm alive. Should there not be some other reason? Ladies and gentlemen, the first reason why we all are living is true that we are alive, so we are living. The first purpose we all have is survival. Anything and everything that you and I do, we are doing it for survival. We can give it fancy names, but the first thing is survival. The moment your and my survival is at threat, we change our strategies. So the first purpose of every human being is to survive. But then, you and I are fortunate. We belong to the category where our survival is not an issue. So we belong to the category that we are living to become successful. We got to become successful. We just should not be just a living entity. We got to be something. That is the second requirement, that we got to become successful at something. But then please don't stop there. The third and the ultimate thing that you and I got to do is, let us make our success significant. Because if you are just merely successful, it is good for you and your immediate family. But when our success is significantly successful, then we start contributing to the growth of overall society. So let's not just stop at individual success. We are living so that one day we can reach the ultimate goal, and that is significant success. But to do that, you got to be happy. Now I'm about to share some facts with you. All the ladies present here, this is for you. Please listen them carefully. And the moment I say ladies, listen carefully, all men become alert. Listen carefully. What I meant was, everybody pay attention. I'm sure you must have heard it already. Average female in most of part of the world lives 5 years longer than the male. Have you heard this before? Average female lives 5 years longer than the male in most parts of the world. Average female will have 50% less cardiac problems, of course, than the male. In mental asylum, female ratio is 50% less. In terms of committing suicide, male ratio is 300% more. We don't challenge these figures, right? So how come so huge, drastic difference? So a lot of research was conducted to understand why does it happen. There are a lot of reasons for this, but one thing that I would like to communicate to each one of us here is, women are living happier, healthier, longer life than us for one simple reason. Nature has given them a power, and that power is, she can be happy during the process. Men by default have a problem. We postpone our happiness for the destination. She can be happy in the journey. We postpone it for the destination. Let me give you a very simple example. Even the process of getting ready for this event, who enjoys it? Of course, ladies would enjoy it. For us, it is, big problem. I don't know about, how it is here in Bahrain, but in India, especially Delhi, crowded city, when I am driving, wife is sitting, my standard response is, I'll be cursing government. There should have been a flyover here. These damn lights never work. What a stupid person on road. And she will be busy changing the FM channel and listening to the song, right? She is enjoying the journey, and I am thinking I will become happy when I reach the destination, but not happy in the process. When I was 17 years of age, I used to think that when I will have my first motorbike, I will become happy. And then that day came at the age of 18, I got my bike. First 3 months I was happy. I used to, the first job I used to do every day was wash the whole motorbike every day. Then comes a time that you only clean that much seat where you are supposed to sit down. Now the rest of the bike is not yours. Because then we were told that by just having a bike, you cannot be happy. You got to become educated. So then I became educated. I got degree, then degrees. But then I was told that by just having degrees, you can't be happy. You got to have a job. Then I got a job, and then I was told that, no, good job. Okay, then I got a good job. And then I was told that by just getting a job, you can't be happy. You got to get married. So in order to become happy, I got married. And the moment you get married, you realize that, my goodness, I was happy. But then people don't leave you there. They will take you further. By just being married, you can't be happy. You got to have kids. So, I worked hard. With a son. But then people don't leave you there. One is not sufficient. You got to have minimum 2. And those of us who have 2 children, I'm sure you must be aware, with your first child you become a parent, with second child you become a referee. Then you realize that, my goodness, happiness is again not coming. Then we are told that, hey, now make your son and daughter engineer, then be happy. You yourself got the degree, was not happy. But now you are told that when your children will get the degree, then you will be happy. Then we start working on that. The child gets the degree. Get this child married. Then you will be happy. अपनी करके देखी थी. And then comes a point, अभी भी मजा नहीं आ रहा. But when I will have my grandchildren, then I will be happy, and by that time your task is over. Time to be framed on the wall with a garland around. And this journey from the cradle to cremation completes in search of happiness. Sad reality of life. We can change it by doing just one correction. And what is that? If we are doing things in order to be happy, then we are doing them in the wrong order. The right order is be happy, enjoy the process, and then do whatever you are doing. The chances of becoming successful at whatever we are doing are greater if we are doing it with pleasant mindset. Would you agree? That is what we got to do. Let us enjoy the process. And the last thing that I would like to tell you, if you really wish to remain happy most of the times, be thankful. Please be thankful. We have a lot of complaints, I agree. We have complaints against God, for sure. We have complaints against our parents, of course. With our spouse, certainly. Of course, he is a human being or she is a human being. How can you not have complaints? You will never have complaints against anybody else's spouse. So it is very natural to have complaints against your own family members. It's all right. It is okay to have complaints against your country. It's all right. But at the same time, don't forget to thank what we have. The problem is, whatever we get, we forget. Whatever we get, we forget. And that is why people are living such a miserable life, because they are not thankful. Let us start thanking the moment we wake up in the morning, thank God. Then again, thank Lord, family is also awake. Thank God we have something to do. Thank God those companies who are, working, functioning. Thank God to our colleagues. Thank God to our spouse, to our children. Thank God. Thank you to the government. Thank you to everyone around us. Trust me, a person who is thankful can remain happy. A person who is thankless will find it very, very difficult to be happy. So with this, let me thank all of you for this wonderful patient listening. Right?